Hey folks, I'm in the kitchen with you today, and I'm going to do something that's pretty exciting. I'm going to open up another ferment. But this ferment is totally different because this is a sauce, the very first one I've ever made this way, that is ready to go right out of the fermenting bucket. So, join me and let's talk about this amazing new hot sauce. Hey folks, this is Phil from Alabama Hot Sauce. That's alabamahotsauce.com on the web. I'm here in my commercial kitchen today, and I'm going to do something that always excites me. We're going to open a ferment. Now, for those of you that watch very many of my videos, you know that while I love every part of this making hot sauce, I really am a fermenter at heart. I love setting ferments. I love the management process of them as they are moving through the fermentation cycle. And I really love opening them up and seeing what the raw product that I have to work with in my blending looks like. And I love sharing it with you. Now today, I'm going to open one of 6 buckets of ferment that were set up nearly a year ago. This is a very, very unique ferment for 2 reasons. First, this bucket is one of 6 for a brand new sauce that I've never made, which is a Chipotle type hot sauce. I'm asked constantly about, why don't you have a Chipotle sauce? When are you going to have one? For 2 years now, I've been saying, I'm working on it. And last year, right before Christmas, I decided, it's really time I get going on this. And so I set up 300 pounds of ferment for that purpose. So what's in this bucket is going to be a new sauce that I have, which is a Chipotle style sauce. But most important, the way I've done this particular ferment is a first for me in making commercial sauce. And that is that this bucket contains a ready-to-go hot sauce, meaning instead of just fermenting and then later blending, the process of fermenting and holding this sauce has been one of fermenting and blending as I go, so that when I open this bucket, the sauce that I find in here is going to be, with very, very few changes, exactly what ends up in the bottle. Now, inside this bucket, I have fermenting a mixture of smoked red jalapenos, that's the Biker Billy style jalapenos, Morita peppers, and chili de Arbol peppers. And these things were put into this bucket along with a variety of spices and other ingredients. And they were fermented for slightly over 90 days. They've now been in the refrigerator in cold storage, sealed up, maturing for, I think, 7 months now. So, when I open this bucket, now I've already taken a peek in here, but when I open this bucket and show you, what I'm going to be showing you is a sauce that's a fermented sauce where blending has taken place at various steps over the last almost a year. And all I will need to do to bottle this sauce is I will have to add a couple of ingredients that only can be done at the very end. I will then put this sauce to the heat, pasteurize it, and we'll put it in the bottles. Now, let's get in here. We're going to take a look at this good-looking stuff. When I ferment, when I age, I don't put sauce directly in the buckets. I always put them in a bucket liner. So I'm peeling this liner back. And the first comment I can make to you is the aroma is unbelievable coming off of this. This has that smoky aroma. It has that deep, I call it the dried pepper aroma that you oftentimes get with Chipotle sauces. It is absolutely beautiful. Now, let's go in here and take a look at this stuff. Look at this sauce. This stuff is smooth. Oh, it is so dark red. It's so dark red, it's almost brown. Beautiful, beautiful sauce. I cannot get over the aroma. The aroma is out of this world. Now, what I did for this bucket, and remember I told you there are 6 of them total. Each bucket is roughly a little over 50 pounds. I have a total of 300 pounds of this sauce. What I did with each of these is I began by smoking fresh Biker Billy red jalapeno peppers. Now, Biker Billy peppers are unique in and of themselves. They are the tastiest. They are the most pungent of all the varieties of jalapeno. And so I smoked these jalapenos and I ground them and placed them into buckets. Now, in addition to the smoked jalapenos, each of these buckets got 10 pounds of raw unsmoked jalapenos. That was to make sure that in the smoking process, we know we kill off some lactobacillus. That's necessary for this ferment. So I put some fresh pepper back in here just as a source for that lactobacillus bacteria, okay? Now, after doing that, I let these 6 buckets ferment for about 6 weeks. At the end of 6 weeks, I came back in here and I added in dried and reconstituted Morita peppers and dried and reconstituted chili de Arbol peppers. So I should have that dried Mexican pepper flavor. I should have that great smoky flavor from those smoked jalapenos. And it should be absolutely wonderful. It certainly looks good. And it is clearly a beautiful puree. Now, after the fermentation, I took these 6 barrels out and I pureed them. At that point, I added various other ingredients, spices, some other things to give me the right flavor. I won't tell you everything I put in there because it's a recipe that I hold dear to my heart. But anyway, I mixed these up after I added everything in. I made sure we had the right consistency. It was then topped with vinegar, but it was not your typical vinegar. This was topped with plantain vinegar that I made right here in my kitchen. That's vinegar made out of the plantain's banana-type fruit. The vinegar by itself is absolutely amazing, and I fully expect that plantain vinegar taste, which is unique, has transferred over into this sauce. Now, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw out a little bit of this sauce so I can give it a taste. Okay? Oh, it looks and smells so good. So I come in here. Oh my. I'm immediately hit by the smoky flavor. I can taste the jalapeno flavor, and I can taste these amazing Biker Billy jalapenos because the depth of flavor is unbelievable with this particular pepper. I can clearly taste the chili de Arbol because, as you all know, it has a unique flavor to it. I can taste the Morita peppers. I can taste my spices. This is absolutely wonderful. The heat level is about medium, which is what I was shooting for. The salt is perfect. I'm guessing that it's going to end up being about 2.2% salt, which is very, very close to what I was shooting for. It's just perfect. I can't ask for anything better. Not only is making a Chipotle sauce new to me for sale to the public, but this is also the first time I've made a sauce which comes out of the bucket ready to go in the bottle. So this is a ready to go right out of the fermentation process, right in the bottle and out to the market. And again, I'm going to say the consistency of this is amazing. The flavor is amazing. The color is out of this world. But one of the things I want to check, I want to make sure that I'm on target for my pH. Now, I believe when I put these peppers up, when I sealed these 6 barrels, the average pH between the barrels was about 3.1, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to turn my meter on. My pH meter was calibrated this morning, as it is every morning when I come to work. And we're going to go in here and we're going to take a look at what this pH is in this sauce. All right, we got a pH of 3.01, or basically 3.0. I am perfectly happy with that. Like I say, the pH has dropped a little bit since these were put up. That happens quite often because a little bit of production of lactic acid continues, even when it's in cold storage. These things, again, remember these 6 buckets have been in a 34-degree refrigerator for a little over 6 months. So it's had quite a bit of cold storage and conditioning. Now, because these 6 buckets can have differences, even though they came from a single shipment of peppers, and they were put up at the same time, and they were put up using exactly the same amount of salt, there can be differences. To make sure those differences don't transfer from case to case and bottle to bottle in this production run, I will take these 6 buckets and all this sauce will be combined and mixed so we homogenize things like salt content, flavor, heat level. All those things will be homogenized so that what I get is a production of what will be about 800 bottles of hot sauce, and they'll all be the same. They'll have this wonderful Chipotle taste, and it'll be exactly what we were shooting for, okay? Now, there are a few items that will go into this sauce at the time of packaging. For instance, I'm going to add slightly more of the plantain vinegar. So this sauce is going to get ever so slightly thinner. In addition to that, even though the sauce right out of this barrel shows no separation at all after sitting still for 6 months, I will still introduce the xanthan gum just prior to heating and bottling. So the xanthan gum will go into here, the vinegar will go into here. There'll be about 20 more minutes of mixing to make sure all those things are homogenized in the sauce. That mixing will again provide some protection to prevent separation. And then that sauce will go on to the pasteurization. It'll be heated to 195 degrees. Anything that could have survived in this process will be killed, including any lactobacillus that remains. It'll go in bottles. I'm going to put a beautiful label on it, and out it'll go to my customers. But anyway, I want to show you this. I have to tell you, I'm quite proud now that I taste this of what I'm seeing. I love the color. It's very, very close to what I expected. I love the flavor. It is exactly like the test batches that I made to develop this recipe. I love the recipe, which took literally months to develop. I made about 15 different batches of 25 ounces of the sauce in order to test this recipe and to get my scaling information. So I am really, really happy with this. I look forward to getting it out on the market. This Chipotle sauce is going to be absolutely wonderful on burritos, tacos, fried rice. It's going to be wonderful on, I think, pork. Pork is oftentimes used in tacos and burritos and enchiladas, and I think it's going to be very good on that. From what I can tell by tasting this and the experimentation I did with the test batches, this is going to be a sauce that's going to be a big home run for Alabama hot sauce. Anyway, folks, there we have it. Opening right in front of you so you can see it. My very first Chipotle style sauce. My very first sauce that is basically comes out of the bucket ready to be bottled. The Alabama hot sauce, Chipotle sauce. I won't tell you the name that's going to be on the sauce yet, but that'll be coming. And I hope that you get a chance to buy a bottle of this stuff because I believe you'll love it. I want to thank you for watching this video. I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. I love having new subscribers. I love making hot sauce, but most of all, I love talking to other people about how hot sauce is made. While you're in there, give me a thumbs up if you approve of the content of this video. And ring that bell so YouTube will know that you like my content and you want to be notified each time I publish new stuff. Again, folks, thank you for joining me. I hope you had fun watching this. I hope you learned something. Mr. Phil, Alabama hot sauce. I'll see you next time. I'll tell you what, this is going to be a home run. You know, combining and homogenizing all these 6 buckets is going to be a task. We're going to have to figure out how to do that. I got an idea. Anyway, we'll have to figure out how to do that. It's going to be great. All right. You know, end of the day, Friday. I'm kind of glad the day is over. Let's wind things up and head out of here. We don't have to, there's no sense in moving this stuff here. I'll come back in here tomorrow and get this stuff and get it moved out of the way.